News, views, voices of the global Indian community. India abroad.
When I first ran for office in Illinois, I've told Deepak this before. When I first ran for office in Illinois, I said, "Hi, my name is Raja Krishnamoorthi." Raja Krishnamoorthi. And the person in Chicago looked right back at me and said, "Roger Christian Murphy." And then he says, "I didn't know the Irish made it to India." And let me tell you a little part of this that I haven't mentioned before to an audience, which is a couple years ago, I called somebody to ask for their support. And I called them and I said, "Hi, this is Raja Krishnamurthy." And he goes, "The check is in the mail." And I said, "Sir, I don't think we've ever spoken before. My records indicate I've never asked you for anything in the past." And he said, "Senator Murphy, stop calling me." So anyway, it's great to talk to you. It's really a pleasure. I want to observe those 3 rules of public speaking: be short, be sweet, and be gone. 3 points. First of all, can you give a big round of applause to Deepak Raj, the founders of Impact, all the staff, Chintan, and everybody for putting these together. I can't hear you. It takes so much to put something like this together. They do it on a yearly basis. They bring everyone from all corners of America to discuss issues of importance. They bring speakers of interest to all of us. And I'm just so grateful that you take time out of your schedules to be here and to put this together. Let me segue to my second point, which is I'll tell you a little bit about where I come from and where do I represent, because that informs my third point, which is where do we go from here? What are the stakes and where do we go from here? Okay, where am I from? I'm from India. I was born in India. I was made in India. I was born in New Delhi. I came to this country when I was 3 months old, to Buffalo, New York, originally, where my father was studying. Yes, one person over there is from Buffalo. That's where my father was studying engineering at the University of Buffalo. And things were going just great until suddenly the recession of 1973 hit us very hard. And my father lost his income. But thanks to the generosity of the American people, we were allowed to move into public housing and food stamps. So I spent about half of my early childhood in those 2 programs, life-saving programs. And thanks to the generosity of the American people, we were allowed to stay until my father could complete his studies and then find an excellent job in, of all places, Peoria, Illinois. So they loaded up the U-Haul truck and started driving and driving until they reached Peoria. And that's really where the golden period of our lives began, because that's where we entered the middle class. And pretty much every night at the dinner table, my father would say to my brother and me, think of the greatness of this country. Think of the greatness of this country. And whatever the 2 of you do, just make sure this country is there for the next families who need it. I didn't know what he was talking about when I was so young. But over time, I started to understand. Later on, I went away to school. I came back to Chicago. I then entered government. I helped to start the anti-corruption unit of the Illinois Attorney General's office. And business was very good, Deepak. I joined this office right as Rod Blagojevich was giving us more and more business every day. And there's a little anecdote that kind of summarizes how things were at that time. There were 2 people in the lunch line at the local state penitentiary in Chicago. And the first person looks at the second person and says, "Oh my God, this lunch is so bad." And then the second person looks at the first and says, "You're right, it was much better when I was governor." We had 3 governors go to prison in Illinois in a span of 15 years. So that's what But in all seriousness, that office is actually where I learned how not to do government. And then from there, I became deputy state treasurer. And then I ran a very small business for about 7 years. And then I got elected to this office. And so my life has come full circle. Full circle. Full circle. From the time that this kid was on food stamps and in public housing to the time where I could finally pursue that mission statement given to me by my parents, which is try to make sure this country is there for the next families who need it. That is only possible in America. And so that's what I'm doing right now. That is the mantra for my office. I have 2 excellent members of my office here today, and they know that every single day we have to make sure this office is there for the next families who need it. That's it, plain and simple. That's our mission statement. So now you might be wondering, where do you represent? I represent all the suburbs surrounding O'Hare International Airport in Chicago, including the runways, but not the terminals. That's called gerrymandering. Now, this set of suburbs is one of the most diverse anywhere in the Midwest, but it also has one of the biggest concentrations of Desis of any district anywhere in the country. Yes, you can clap. It has so many Desis. I'll give you another anecdote. My eldest son loves basketball. He's a basketball fanatic. He was on a team of 8 people growing up, 5 of whom were Desi, and both coaches were Desi. And so someone said to me, Raja, that team must be very bad. And I said, no, you don't understand. Every other team in this league looks the same. So it's fair and balanced, just like Fox News. And so that's what life was like in Schaumburg, Illinois, which is where we make our residence. Now, in all seriousness, the vast majority of people in this district of 750,000 people, 750,000 people, the vast majority are white Caucasian residents. But the fact that they would elect a guy like me, whose name they cannot pronounce, even today, for a 4th term. Now I seek a 5th contract extension, but the fact that they would elect me is testament to the greatness of this country. And it tells you all you need to know about what it means to be an American and how expansive, how inclusive, how the definition of what it means to be American cannot be written in one sentence. It is something that is ineffable. It's an idea. It's not a person. It's not a color. It's not whom you love or how you pray. It's not your religion. It's not where you come from. It's not the number of letters in your name. There are 29 in mine. It's something much more beautiful than we can even describe. And that's what's at stake in 2024. That is what is at stake in 2024. So, I come to my 3rd and final point, which is this. I'm one of 5 Indian Americans in Congress. I coined the phrase to describe it as the Samosa caucus 8 years ago. And it's a small but spicy and powerful group of people. Now someone said, we need more samosas. Deepak tells me there could be 5 more samosas coming to Congress. But in actuality, we need Congress to look like America. So it's very natural. We need Congress to look like America so Congress functions at its best. The more that Congress looks like America, the more that Congress will defend what I tried to convey to you but couldn't describe, which is the beauty of America. It's something beyond us. It's something on the horizon. It's a trajectory. It's not a place. It's someplace we're going. And so I say to you, this year, as you decide, Desi's decide, we have to do 3 things. 1, we have to vote. Will everyone here vote in the upcoming election? Because we can talk politics all day, but doing politics is what matters. Remember, politics is not just a noun, it's a verb. And we have to do politics this year, we have to vote. Secondly, we have to work on political causes bigger than ourselves. Are you with me? We have to support our local mandirs, we have to support our local mosques, we have to support our local not-for-profits. I hope you do that and you give generously, and I know all of you do. But we also have to work on political issues bigger than ourselves. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, I don't care, as long as you recognize that you need to participate in the civic affairs of your country. And now is the time to do it. And so I come to my 3rd and final point on that issue, which is, it's time to run for office. It's time to run for office at all levels. And I know you are. And impact is making a strong impact so that we can have more and more and more people at all levels pulling up a seat to the table. Now, there's this old saying in Washington, which is, if you don't have a seat at the table, you're on the menu. None of us can afford to be on the menu. Not this year or any year. So I hope that more people consider running for office. Perhaps you'll run for city council, maybe for state house, state senate. You'll run for Congress, though not in my congressional district. Someone this morning said, Raja, when will there be an Indian American president of the United States? I said, have you heard of Desi time? The proverbial person you're talking to on the other end of the phone who says they're 5 minutes away. We are 5 minutes away. And then some. But on Desi time, we will get there. In Desi time, this community will come of age, will realize its full potential, will be at every table. And once we do, remember, we pull up other seats for everyone else. Isn't that right? That's who we are. We're never an exclusive bunch. We always want others to participate. So I close with my favorite saying. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. I'm honored and blessed to be with you here to celebrate impact, which has come of age and done so much for so many people in so many jurisdictions. And in this all-important year, I can't wait to see what you do next. So thank you so much.